Hello, in this video I'll be doing a quick deck tech of my doctor deck. Here are all my kind of sections. We've got my commanders, the floating dock and Counter Mark 1, the WAMP, have the lands, and the doctors and companion. You kind of see that's most of the deck, and then we have a lot of lands, and then WAMP, and then everything else. So let's get into it with our first pile, lands. I just probably should go over the commands first. We have Counter Mark 1. This gives protection for all our doctors and doctors' companions as their legendary creatures, and then also it's very nice because it makes them unblockable. And then yes, we have the 14th Doctor. Really kind of here just for the colors, but also can become any doctor theoretically. Lands. Got exotic orchard. Gonna go brush over the clock tower is really good because we're always gonna have a Time Lord. Our commander Time Lord, we have a lot. I think around 19 Time Lords in this deck. And just good cycling, good midnight clock type effect. I'm trying to get all the filter lands in here. I think I'm only missing one or so. Well, this one actually wasn't printed in the Doctor Who set, but there's also a few others that weren't for some reason. They were really odd with. They included some cycles, but not complete cycles, which is really weird. The one full cycle that we have two from here are the slow lands, Desert Beach and Overgrown Farmland. They didn't include all of those, which is nice, but they didn't include all the filter lands. They just said this is one from the set, but they didn't include all of them. We also have Fuji City from Boomborough. This is good because it's not, this deck isn't necessarily typo. It's just a theme that centers around a central type. I actually did look. I recently scanned this weekend. I scanned all my cards into Mana Box, and the most common type was human, which makes sense. There's a lot. Most of the companions, dark companions, have the type line human. So based on that, it might make sense. But I didn't just choose Time Lord because there are two companions that are Time Lords, as well as all the doctors. You have Sacred Foundry from Infinity. I pulled this in a box of Infinity I recently opened, put in the deck. I've been really debating between completing that. I want to complete a few full cycles, and one cycle is between that and where is it? I have in the Shocklands and the opponent check lands. Yeah, there it is. I only have one piece of each. I have, a Sacred Fountain. I have a Rejuvenating Springs from the Elves Council Precon that I got this Christmas. I'm trying to complete the Slow Land, Filter Lands, and Pain Lands, which you'll see the Pain Lands. Some of the Pain Lands I have already in this deck in a second, but I'm trying to decide if I should complete this cycle in the deck or this cycle. So that's something I'm gonna have to think about. You guys probably might be able to help me make. We have Command Tower, obvious. Slow land, some more filters. Most of the land, I don't think. When I look at the lands, I don't. There are obviously I'm gonna have to make cuts to. Besides the one that is probably part of the unfortunate cycle I decide not to complete in this deck. None of those lands are going to be removed, but here I actually have two lands I'm going to probably move from this deck in the near future once I start getting more of those lands I actually want. Esquire's Headquarters and Flooded Grove. This is not really what I want. I'm not going to complete either of these cycles. I'm not wanting the modern fetches in this deck. The ones you pay one life and you get a typed land onto the battlefield. I'm not winning any of those in this deck, so this is not really as useful as it could be the cycling. And yeah, Flood Grove's good, but I really kind of in this deck I'm going for an all or nothing on cycles, and because it's all full because it's everything except black. Each cycle will have 6 cards in it, making it really hard to making it really hard to have. I think I've done the math. I have about 4 cycles, and I already have the slow. I have the slow, the pain, the filters, and then yes, the 2 I have to decide between. So I have no room for other things. You just some other things. You have Sundown Pass, Overflowing Bastion, and Storm Carved Coast. Never actually. I'm very bad at pronouncing names. It's actually something that's really hard to comes up a lot in Magic, which is not that good. But yeah, we have Ominous Cemetery. Good bit of flavor, good bit of interaction, and if you don't need it, it still taps for colorless, which is good. It's really fun to just shuffle things into your opponent's library. Path of Ancestry. This is good. It enters tap, but does the same thing as Command Tower, and because one of my commands is the 14th Doctor, I'm running a lot of things. It'd be even more useful if I was running with Noble Check at the top here. But I did that one game, and I just found in this deck sometimes it's really hard. That 4 mana sometimes it's really hard to cough up. Especially around turn 4, because as you'll see, there's a lot of really interesting things you can do in this deck around. Because when you get to around turn 4, you generally have enough mana to cast a lot of your Doctors and start doing a lot of really interesting things. And just that extra bit of card draw is something I found. I might try it again. I might put her back into command zone sometime soon and see how it works out. We have all the tri lands. Also yes, non-black tri lands, because this deck is everything except black in this deck. Yeah, the Pain lands there, the Simic one, and the Ghoul Pain lands. Some basics, it's already gone 7 minutes. It's just been talking about Ashburn. I'm probably gonna move Ashburn to the cycle, for room for more kind of the cycle if I have to. 2 more tri lands. Fabled Passage is definitely something I'm not gonna move. It's just strictly better than strictly better than Tailmove Expanse and Evolving Wilds. It's really good, and it's something I really like. I really like it, and it's really good for mana fixing. Dreamroot Cascade, all for the basics in this. The extra basics I'm definitely gonna remove for more space, and then Triland, and then 2 shocks. 2 pains. That's all the land. I'm gonna move on to the rest of the mana base in the lamp. The set did have a bit of explore 3 visits, but most of my lamp is in the 6 talismans. Here are all 6 of the talismans, which were all printed in the set. And then you have I couldn't make a Doctor deck without a Sonic Screwdriver, and then we have Susan Foreman, which is gonna go right on top of. Well, I guess you've already seen it, but yeah, it's Swamp, and also it's a Doctor's Companion. Every time I play it, I have to kind of explain, that this entire there's a lot of text up here. It's basically the scry that you scry to every time you planeswalk on the planar deck. I believe it is, yeah. And then also adds 1 mana, you tap it out on green. It just really hard. People see that and get really scared sometimes, because it's a lot of text, especially for 2 mana 1/1 to have, but it's really useless. And then we have Big on the Inside. It's the card that's constantly been kind of on the chopping block every time you play a card. I've just never done it, just because it's a really good card. It has a lot of really funny use cases. If you put on a food or Canine Mark 1, then the target player makes it really good for a bit of group hug if you want it, especially if you get the 2nd Doctor. It gives you Cascade, which also really works well. Next, we'll move on to the other stuff, just to So first we have Everybody Lives, Protection, you know, and Everybody Lives really kind of feeds into a bit of this cool. This deck has a lot of different modes to kind of see as you look over. So far, it's just been lands and wamp, but there's a lot of different things this deck. There's a lot of different ways it can win. Unearthly Child, just get myself the Tortoise is and Bessie Old Roadster, which are both the only two vehicles in here, but also just a companion or a doctor, which is really good. Swords to Plowshare. It's Swords to Plowshare. The Bessie Old Roadster, a bit of evasion. My command already does, but my code already does that, but still pretty good. Good can never too much evasion. The 11th Hour is really good. It's one of the many Saga Dark. I think this is one of the best. I think this might be the only Saga Doctor Tutor I'm wanting just because it's the best. All the other ones do other things. I just couldn't find room for them. Really, some of them are pretty good. Other ones are pretty good. Case of Oz, I think was from Blast from the Past, is pretty good, but it this one's it does a lot of it does a lot of stuff. It does like stun counters and then proliferates in a way. But this one makes your doctor's cost less and then gives you a copy of something, which is good. It's the only counter spell in the deck. It's reverse the polarity. It has really good, a lot of different modes, and in general, it's really good. It's the only counter spell. It counters all spells, all of the spells, but it's also the only counter spell because like this deck, something my dad who also plays a lot of Magic has kept on telling me about this deck. It would be so much better. I could make it's a lot worse than it could be, but I really think that if I do by making it strictly more powerful deck, you lose a lot of the heart and soul of the deck, which is the fact that it's basically just entirely a remixed version of the Doctor Who precons. It has a few and all the non-Doctor Who set cards, whether from the Secret Lair or like World Noble, or just in the mana base, which isn't too big of a deal for me. We had the 5 Doctors. It's really fun when you can kick this. When you can kick the 5 Doctors and it resolves. It's really fun because you can just go get 5 Doctors and then you win the game. This similarly board wipes basically, because you have 5 Doctors. Well, this is one of my. This is the only actual exact card that is. No, I have a lot of other win conditions, but this is my only win condition that isn't just winning with a Doctor, basically. I've never won with it yet, but one day I really hope I can win with Gallifrey Stands. And then when I do, it's going to be amazing. But people keep on counting it. One person I play with a lot on my local LGS keeps on counting it. And one time destroyed it over another enchantment. There was also the fact is you win the game does scare a lot of people off about it. Does scare some people because it's very unlikely to happen. It does also give you a free doctor. I think that's a big thing. It does give you a free doctor. It does give you a free doctor. It also returns all your doctors to your hand. I generally don't cast the 14th doctor unless I have that other 5 doctors. Just so I can get those doctors back. Or I have the 8th doctor, which you'll see in a sec, that allows you to cast historic spells from your graveyard. Well, if you don't have that out, it's not really that good. Then we have one Twice Upon a Time in a Doctor Tutor. It also lets you pay 6 mana. Spell, pretty good. Hook Intervention, Protection, Farewell, removal, and then Psychic Paper, Evasion, and Protection. Basically does something. It basically does something very similar to this. It can be a bit funny. That's what I don't like to use sometimes though, because it's like you just have to think of a creature type, probably just Doctor or Time Lord, you should put it on one of your doctors so you can still get your stuff. But then it's actually doctor if you want, especially if you want one with Galify stand. But it's also just like, but what? It's just also like a bit. I feel like it actually makes it a bit worse in some cases. Yeah, Wells Noble, you've already seen, you know, as get bone protection actually, which is nice, but you know, it's a cash trigger, which is good, but yeah, it gives you some good value there. Adwick Mathematic Genius. I haven't actually. I'm currently watching through the Doctor Who. I'm currently on the third Doctor. I kind of skipped a lot of the first and second. I've not gone to Adwick yet. It might have been the bit I skipped basically the entirety of. I should probably go back and watch the second Doctor sometime. Anyways, I keep on seeing stuff on TikTok about this man. They keep on mentioning how sad it was. It's just like, what happened to this person? Did they just die? Because like, based on the way you're talking about it, like, did he like he? I don't know what's happened to Adwick, but apparently it's something real bad and real sad. But pretty good card. Stifle on the stick, and then copying abilities. You know. A lot of these, the lore I'll definitely talk to in depth. But this one's pretty good. Isn't that much? It has some pretty good payoffs, but it kind of, I feel, doesn't. I don't think I've ever gotten it that big. I also don't think I've played it that much. So there's some with a deck this size, there's a lot of cards I haven't played with that much, so I won't have. Clay was really good. If I put it in the command zone, I could have all 5 colors, which would be interesting. I don't know what we put in here with stuff like Weeping Angel, maybe the Master, and this one Companion in Black. But yeah, it's really good. Copies like Doctor Strange, You can go up. Yeah, the 12th Doctor. I remember when I first got the Paradox Battle Precon, I ran him in Graham O'Brien. Graham O'Brien actually, because I started watching Doctor Who only October 2024. Which isn't that long ago now, but it was because of the Magic set. I got into Magic a few months before that, and I'll talk about that later actually. But yeah, I went this in Graham O'Brien, and this is a really good commander, especially for Paradox Power, because like you copy so much, and copying like twice upon a time is insane. Amy Pond's really good because I'll do it here too. It fetches Roy Williams, which I'm running in this deck, and without that, it would be a lot worse because sometimes you might just not be doing suspend. In that case, it's a 3-mana 2/2, but it's also really good in the command zone, especially with the 11th, because they have a lot of these 3 have a lot of synergy. If I get the 11th, all my doctors are in ton slot because I spent too much money on this deck. But, this last ability, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. If you look, 2, 3, 3. So, these 2 are really good alt commanders for timey-wimey, I would say. And in any case, these 3 are just good, have some really good synergy and in the game, and definitely these 2 are a good pairing because if you look on EDH rank, very few decks run these 2, and I really could not see you run these 2. I could not see myself running these 2 as commanders, because you get the exact same colors, and it's just better if you're running these 2, because then you can because of partner with, you can just get Roy. I can pronounce W. It's known fact. You see Rose Tyler, really good. I'm a great default commander for. Sorry. A bit of my nose, a bit cold out. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, Rose Tyler, definitely good. Definitely great. It's just a good card. Not much more to say about Willie. It's really good. Even those partners, all the partners that don't care about historic cards can often feel a bit. There's a lot of companions. We've gone that feel a bit flat. There's some companions I'm not wanting. I will move Noddle because and I put in um historic heroic intervention because Noddle, unless he dies, he doesn't have really any value unless you have the Fifth Doctor out. Actually, but yeah, Wolf Tyler is one of the many companions that kind of can fall flat sometimes and just not do anything. The Fifth Doctor, anyway, moving on, the Fifth Doctor is really good, especially if you're not attacking that much. I would definitely want to build a deck around him for a while. I just haven't figured out exactly what to do in the 99 yet, but really good. I think a bit of like group huggy, this kind of pillow fort. It's like, I'm not gonna attack anyone. No one can attack me. I'm just gonna sit here peacefully, making a ginormous army. Really good one. Wine St. Clair is kind of often a bit of a companion that when you play it, you're not really gonna do too much of it unless you can really bump up his power and toughness. Otherwise, he's not gonna give you too much value unless you're like the Fifth Doctor, something else out. Not getting high value. Sorry about that. Next you have the 10th Doctor. Really good. Time traveling 3 times can really be powerful. And him, one game I had him, Amy Pond out. Alright, Amy Pond and Roy Williams. And I had the War Doctor. Dropped my lamp. I had the War Doctor out. The War Doctor is really good. And has a lot of good synergy with this. And it's just, that was a great game. I didn't end up winning because I became too scary, the War Doctor became too scary, and someone specifically just destroyed the War Doctor, and then I had to and I really fumbled the play at some point, and I basically just lost after I really fumbled. The 7th Doctor is one I very rarely play, I very rarely search for, but it's actually really fun, and definitely something I would want to build a deck around. And yeah, it's just a great card. It does a lot of times that's why I think him and Ace, I know that's it's a can thing, but I can compare canyon partnership. But yeah, this would be really good, I think. Him and A, because actually, and yes, because then you could because the biggest problem with this, when you have a lot of artifacts, you often have 300, you have to hit that sweet spot in which it's actually, because like if you're like 10 artifacts, you often just have too much and you have to start whittling down, but sometimes that can be really mana intensive and hard. Not stuff taken's a good artifact sack outlet if that ever happens, and then max hand size, which can be useful in some cases, but most of the time I would say it's a bit dead because I often have enough artifacts to sacrifice to get that payoff, but still a 3/4 for 4 mana, which isn't too bad of a deal. Good blocker. We have the First Doctor, just the hardest I often forget to do this ability, which actually just a disadvantage to me, but really good. That when you have that, the TARDIS, which I do have in this deck, and I put it with my doctors. This and the TARDIS, classic combo. It happens every once in a while, and it's really good. But yeah, really good here. And yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that really good. Having. I feel like they really needed I feel like I don't really need it, but it was really good that they did decide to have a doctor that was just a TARDIS thing. I guess the First Doctor is probably the best to do it with, because like if by the Second Doctor already, it's a bit of a shame. I feel like they could have done something good with the First Doctor. I haven't watched too much of him though, but still, Joe Grant. I'm currently watching through the Third Doctor. I cannot figure out why Joe Grant has that ability. I can't. This is clearly from. I think this is from the Sea Devils. and I still can't figure out why she has that ability. I still can't figure it out. Same with the third Doctor. I'm really perplexed with this. And I'm really perplexed with why the third Doctor has that ability as well. I'm over halfway. I'm halfway through. Oh my! That I'm over halfway through the third Doctor's episodes, and I I still can't figure out why he has that ability. Maybe it'll become clear, but based on his default heart from the precon is it's that same is also from the She Devils. I just still am trying to grasp that, you know. We have Dan Lewis. Dan Lewis is really fun. Dan Lewis is really fun. There was a great EDH track article I read about a brew of him. The 14th Doctor was really nice. He's just really fun. Every time I have him, I with a ginormous Doctor doing some weird stuff, and that's just that's just real fun. And this is probably one of my favorite. In this show, he's pretty good, but definitely Magic is one of my favorites. Ninth Doctor's pretty good. Unless you have Suspend going, you're not getting too much out of the Ninth Doctor. If you have Gallifrey Stands, you're getting a lot of value though. Gallifrey Stands in the Ninth Doctor is a great combination to have on the battlefield. You're probably gonna have a board wipe or someone coming to nuke it. Romana the second is pretty good. Once again, there's not that many tokens to copy sometimes. So sometimes you don't have any good token copies to make. If you don't have any good tokens and not make consistent tokens, it's a bit of a dead card. But a lot of the companions. That's why, I feel like that is one big problem with the deck. There's a lot of companions that might just not be doing anything because a lot of the companions, unless you have a Doctor that does something similar, you're not doing anything with them. And next we have the second Doctor, real good protection. Great, love it. I always have a great time. The second Doctor is a card I often go for because it gives me so much card draw. Great. Griffin Moore is one of the two non-Doctor non-companion creatures in this deck, I believe. Yeah. It's Griffin Moore. I could not bring myself to cut Griffin Moore from this deck under any circumstances. It's Griffin Moore. He doesn't really have that many targets. He has quite a few companions, some Doctors, and then some artifacts. Next up, we have the 13th. Pretty good. What did I get? It doesn't have anything to facilitate Paradox on its own because you have a Doctor companion often for that. So it doesn't have all the pieces, right? So it often doesn't have a lot of the pieces there, and a lot of those times can end up just falling a bit flat. A lot of cards have that problem. That's why every once in a while you have a bit of a dead game when you just have cards that have no synergy. You have the War Doctor and the 13th out, but nothing to be doing all that the suspense stuff, and it's just in those games you really wish you put someone else in the command zone, but you can't just do that. Nothing Khan, the default commander for Paradox Power 13th is the other one, and just overall good. Just some impulse draw. I wouldn't always do that first thing in my turn, just so then I can cast it if it's something good. If it's like Gallifrey Stands, I have 7 mana. I would feel real bad if I tapped 2, played Bessie, then did that and went, oh, well, now I can't play Gallifrey Stands. The 8th Doctor, amazing. The 8th Doctor is some of the only graveyard recursion. We have that and the Fugitive. Those two together pretty nice, but one of my great stories that actually reminds me. I had the 15th Doctor out. Oops. I attacked with it. I milled 3, and then I was being milled. I got milled out by a blue deck, played by my father. That was the same thing. The War Doctor, where we went off, and then I became the enemy, and then everyone kind of. Then I got milled out, and then I had almost nothing, and then I attacked with the 15th and milled the Fugitive and the 8th with a graveyard bigger than my deck at that time. And those are the only 2 cards that could have given me an edge by letting me do stuff with my graveyard. Really disappointed, really. And then, yeah. Tegan. I can't pronounce that. Pretty good. A lot of historic stuff in this deck, so, getting some good value. Don't know if it's a good blocker because it makes, you're hitting me, you're attacking for 3. I block with Donna, you're taking 3 yourself, so. Good card there. Good. Actually, you could get some good group strategy in. I'm going to attack with my 22 tramp, 22. You block with Donna. 22 damage is dealt to Donna Noble. Then I can redirect that. So you can also really pull off some interesting kills if you're working with somebody. Have a deal. Grandma Brian's this card is the reason I started watching Doctor Who. I need to know why this human pilot, whenever paradox was happening, made a food token. It was just like, I just needed to know. I ended up watching the entirety of New Who because that, and also because Amazon Prime, they're not the 13th Doctor season, which is exactly when Graham comes in. So I just watched all the way from 9th to 12th, and then just, I don't know why. Anyways, but why? That's why I started. It was one throwaway joke. I kind of think though that was, if they wanted to, especially to have Paradox, that was the best thing to do. Because I'm trying to think what else he could. He is a pilot, which kind of makes sense. He's a bus driver, one of those real stretchings of type, but still, pilot. But Aether Drift actually just came out, and I was really hoping for more pilot travel because it'd be really funny to have more pilot stuff and just have this guy, he drives a bus in Yorkshire, got the same ability, same. He actually is actually, it's insane how the fact that Graham's a 2/2. He's in a tied bus driver and cancel a mission. He can meet 2 1/1 human soldiers. These human soldiers are so bad. So bad their job. The 6th Doctor, really good. Well, the 6th Doctor, love it a lot. Oh, this is all gone for 30 minutes. If anyone's watched this far, comment Echo Delta Tango. That. Okay, no, don't comment that. Comment Oka. Comment Oko. Tissue. Glen. Community 56. And I'll be impressed at you and myself for you sticking around this long, because this can be been 30 minutes of me rambling, zoning off, having the camera falling off its stand. Where I talk about my magic deck, and I thank you, the deepest of my heart, for staying for almost 34 minutes now. The 4th Doctor, just about to watch his stuff. I actually currently have a 4th Doctor scarf on, where just cool every day, and that's how you know. And right? And it's a good card. Like, I really like looking at Zombie Librarian Crime, because every time someone's doing something, you can just kind of be staring, because it feels different than staring at your hand. Like, let's say the rest of the cards are going through this stack as my hand. I just stare. Staring at your hand is not as fun. Staring at the top of your library is dangerous. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but you can. Still looking at, it's like the difference between looking at these things of cardboard and a piece of cardboard you're about to put into your hand. Just stare at it. It's fun. We're looking at it on my library anytime. It also has an ability that does not use the stack. You can do it. You can't do it in response to something, but you can just do it at literally any time. So even if this spell's currently resolving, you can still hit the top of your library. You can't. It's not something that goes on the stack. It's just something you do. You know, because it'd be really annoying because you could easily go in response. I'll look at response. In response to be looking, I'll look. No, you just kind of. You don't need to look at it though. Like, isn't that right? You may. That says look at the top card of your library at all times. That'd be weird. That would be because what? That'd be weird. That's an unset type text. Surgeon Smith. Surgeon Smith's not that good. I remember hearing the under over prediction. I forget who does that for this set, and they said under just because it does kind of read like a bulk common. Whenever you cast an historic spell, investigate this. Because if it weren't for this second sentence, it would be much better. But I feel like they really hesitated in this set on making cards that would particularly be that powerful. Not just to not affect Legacy of Vintage, but I also just think because they wanted the set basically just to be a bit more, not really affect and become to have too many. Like Everybody Lives is the most expensive card in this set. In in standard art, there's a lot, not particularly, and I think they really went out of their way to make these cards playable without being good, without not being good, but like not being spectacularly good. Yeah, let's go Ace. Talk about Ace a bit. Ace is pretty good. Yeah, it's just a good green creature and very fascinating. A lot of fascinating decks you could make with that, I would say. Next we have Martha Jones. Martha Jones' biggest thing is yes, it doesn't have any repeatable investigation, but if you had this as your command, this in the Fugitive Doctor as your commander, that would be really good and has some really good synergies. Pretty good. Really good for getting out some more expensive spells in this deck, and yeah. Okay, finally, you've been here for almost 40 minutes, and if you're still here, make another comment that says, the old marble, okay, no, I got the old marble, okay, no, the old marble rolls down the road. Wow, the plant questions the switch on what day it was in June when Unit ate the tango. Give that a spin in the comments if you got all that. I don't remember it. I just said it. Anyways, next we have James McQuillan. Anyways, really good. I played this in my commander once when I kept on changing commanders. It was so good because so many stores. It got so big. If you make it unblockable, you're doing sometimes upwards of like five command engines. It sounds like a lot until you remember that kills someone for like 5 turns. But then it's like, I'm gonna hit you for 10 commander damage. It's like, whoa, slow down, buckaroo, jeez. And you know what? I'm enjoying this. I'm just gonna do a test game. If you're still here, I commemorate you. I'm gonna have land pockets. I guess the thing is, like, no such thing as a doc. In this deck, a doctor and companion clump is just a deck. At that point, that's just the deck. If you have lands, a bunch of doctors and a bunch of doctors' companions, nothing else. That's just a hand. This is the amount of no, this is my WAMP. I already shuffled in other, but still, it's something interesting about this deck. it's just that, yes, I sometimes have Doctor Companion clumps. I used to, at least, when I kept on sitting up my commander, because I'd sort out the doctor's almost the doctor's companions, and you'd sometimes get clumps of a lot of them. But a clump of doctors and doctor's companions is just what this deck is. So it's not too big of a deal if you get just a bunch of those. This deck actually has a solid mana base. I want to improve it, like I was mentioning earlier. Just kind of for that piece of I feel like it could be better. Still make sure to comment below if you think we should do the opponent checks or shocks. I'm not really too concerned about the monetary stuff of that. I've already invested, you can see, if you saw my 14th Doctor's wheel, I spent too much money on that. I spent a lot of money on this deck already, just because I had a lot of fun playing it, and I really wanted it, I really wanted it to be kind of the best. I didn't get the Surge Foil Toss Hearts, as you can see. I also just don't like it. Looks nice, but I would rather, in my opinion, I rather kind of have an all or nothing. You saw my one shock land. I might want to replace that with foil. I have an all or nothing. I don't really like all foil. I don't really like having sporadic foils because it kind of looks off. I like having more uniform look. That's why I'm really hoping they put more TARDIS out, so all my doctors and doctors companions can be TARDIS out. All they need is the 14th Doctor and 15th Doctor TARDIS art, and all the companions in TARDIS art. Let's do a quick test play here. I count 3 then 4 when I'm getting my opening hand. Okay, I can show. Yeah. Just like I'm just gonna it's an okay opening hand. Let me try to show you here. Got 3 City, Stormcroft Coast, Talisman of Progress, a Forest, Rose Noble, the 15th, and Heroic Intervention. The reason I'm hesitating to keep, despite having 3 lands, turn 2 ramp, protection, draw, is I have no way of casting Cannon Mark 1 turn 1, but that's fine. Drew it to an island. This is good. I don't know. I'm just kind of holding my hand there. But yeah. Cannon Mark 1. I'm trying to see if I can get you guys more view of this. There we go. Cannon Mark 1 has been cast. Untap, upkeep, draw. We drew at the 11th hour. I'm just kind of keeping my hand down here because it's easier for me to see. Okay, I'll get, I'm actually, you know what? See if this is I'm gonna say Forest. Yeah. Talisman of Progress, bit of ramp, past turn, and then, past turn, whoever would be going next. I have another deck here that I could have had. Oh, I'm trying to think when I might cast this turn. I could cast the 5th. I don't have red, actually. Well, yeah, I'll play this. I could cast the 15th Doctor. Well, no, but I feel like. Okay. This is this. I'm gonna tap 4, right? And I could play Rose Noble. I could play 3 things right now. I'm playing Rose Noble. I feel like this. So I think but you can kind of see there how I had 2 other turn 4 placed. Turn 4 is really choked up. You might say, why isn't turn 3 that choked up? Actually, isn't this turn 3? Why isn't turn 3 choked up? That's because, the 14th Doctor is something I don't cast that often. That's why I really actually buying an actual 14th Doctor wasn't something I did. I did kind of a bit hesitantly, but yeah. So then you untap, upkeep, draw. I drew a Fabled Passage. I can't just kind of not showing my hand. It's just me thinking. My hand. You know my lands. Plane. I would pull. I'm gonna say a plains because that's the only color of mana I don't have in non-painful one. And then I think tap everything except I guess my Talisman to play the 11th hour. And now I'm going. I already have draw. Do I need more draw? I need more draw. I'm gonna go get the 11th. I'm gonna go get the second Doctor. But yeah, actually, the deck has a lot of flavor. I feel like one thing I want to talk about the tell you. I feel like I feel like no, Dark Maiden's really concise. I feel like for a while, I was like, I would. It's a lot of cards I want to have Doctor's Companion that just don't have Doctor's Companion for obvious reasons. Like a lot of it's like a lot of the monocolored commanders from this set could have had Doctor's Companion in a very stretched sense. But overall would have had overall goodness, And another time would have been like it would have been like okay flavor wise, but I feel like they just didn't do it because they didn't want to break the they didn't accidentally want to break the mechanic is what I'm trying to say. They didn't want to accidentally print a comp. They didn't want to accidentally print a thing. Well, it might not even do that. They didn't want they were like kind of more strict. Because like Wilfred Mort could have had Doctor's Companion, but that's a bit of a stretch. He was only really a companion for that one special. It seems like they really were more focused on companions that were there for a season or so. I got the second Doctor. Don't want to flash that so quick, but yeah. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm just gonna kind of keep a track. I do have that token actually though, because well, there it is. I was looking for one of the lands I have hidden away in my. Where is that token? There's it on the back of that treasure. Okay. Anyways, here's the one human creature token and a food. This is Graham's sandwich. Anyways, the doctors now cost one less to cast. Those are tokens not in my hand. But yeah, those are I forgot cast UTC. I just don't want to fetch right now. But yeah, I think I'll give you a bit more. Tapping Azorius. The second Doctor and his draw a quad, tap another 3, pay a life, doesn't really matter. 14th, I cast it, draw a card. That's actually in point order. I drew off those Overthrowing Bastion and Sundown Pass. Off those, I would mill Romaine the second, Talisman of Curiosity, and Unearthly Child. Return that to my hand. This is why actually the 8th Doctor would be good right now, yeah. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm just gonna ignore the last thing on the 11th hour because wait, actually Great Talk couldn't tell you it's okay. No, I'm just gonna say I do it for the human. Now legendary. Now my Doctor spells cost 2 less to cast, which is a giant discount. Let's do Sundown Pass. I actually somehow. Oh no, I drew a card last turn. I drew. Oh my god, I'm actually a bit flooded. I need some card draw. I'll attack with the 15th. Nope, I mill a Doctor and nothing. Yeah. I feel this is a bad example. This is a good example of how the deck's on display. You can see this time I flooded out a bit mana-wise. I'm winning a lot of lands because, I'm winning. I don't actually know why. I think I could be winning less lands. Oh my god, I've been recording for almost an hour. I just don't know what's happened here. I feel like I've been not been recording for that long. I would enjoy this. I hope you did too. That was a quick tour of my Doctor deck. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever built, and I really enjoy playing it. And I think it's from what people have told me, they've really enjoyed playing it too. Just because thematic, I personally really not just to build it. I really like decks to have a strong theme. any deck that has a theme and sticks to it is a deck I instantly like and kind of respect in a way. There's a lot of, you don't just need to have it. There's a lot of really good decks I built, but especially if I have like a really nice flavorful deck. That's what I really like. I like Glenn is a commander I recently built a deck with, which is white here. That I really like as a as a commander. But for a while, I think I might still. I have another Glenn in my collection. I have two of them. That Glenn Voice of the Calm. I have a lot of them, and I would really like to build a more thematic deck with this deck I have here. In some ways, a bit of a Zoi's card draw deck with a lot of blue mainly, and it generally wins with things like 20-foot toad and other such effects that allow me to win by drawing a lot of cards. There's definitely I think it definitely theme wise is pretty good, but I don't think to be the most thematic deck. I made one on Marksfield. Glenn's whole thing in the show is she does a lot of supply ones a lot. Which if I makes a lot of sense for him, but yeah, doing some around here.